What? Understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Lloyd
And I'm Tasha.
with Midnight Comics. And of course, welcome back to Indie Breakdown, the show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters, power stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an indie versus matchup. We got something special this time.
Is that what this is?
Huh?
I was being funny. Is that what this is?
I mean, it's a little combo situation, right? We did What If Wednesdays. If you want to dive into that really quick, what we used to do for that specifically, and then I'll jump in and talk about what
we're trying to get back to doing
today. Yeah, well, we're just trying to get back to doing.
Okay. Immediately, the children started yelling.
Oh.
All right, so I guess you said welcome back to Indie Breakdown, but also welcome back to What If Wednesdays, where we do different what if scenarios on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sometimes with our characters and our stories, and sometimes with completely other random things, but always comic related.
Yes.
For now.
So think of this almost kind of a soft relaunch of that, because this will go up on a Wednesday for sure. But the reason why it's
I guess we also usually did it live. We might start doing that again. We'll see.
Yeah. So with this, what we're gonna do, and the reason why it's connected into breakdown today is because we are doing a different type of what if. What if the Avengers were indie? And what we're gonna do to limit ourselves is to only utilize the database that we have at indiebreakdown.com. So if you haven't been on there, definitely check it out. You can check out all the previous breakdowns, all the previous interviews, and of course, we will be referencing today the database. So essentially, the Avengers that we're selecting, not the MCU versions, not the original.
So basically, we're making the indie Avengers.
They were creating the
indie breakdown
from the
database.
original version. So we're talking Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, Wasp, right? In case some of you guys didn't know, somehow Captain America was not an original Avenger. It irks my dad. Fun note, it irks my dad so much. The name of the movie, The First Avenger, he's like, he wasn't the first Avenger. He goes on a whole tangent.
The movie is called The First Avenger because he's the oldest.
Right.
He was the first one to be alive, not the first to join the Avengers.
But wouldn't that be Thor?
That's the logic. He was an Avenger before the Avengers were cool.
Oh, for sure.
Because he avenged in the war.
Of course.
There's logic.
Sure. We'll allow it. So, how we're going to set this up, essentially, we're going to go character by character. We did not share what characters each of us was using, so we'll get to hear from each other one at a time who we selected and hear each other's reasoning. And we'll pull them up on the screen and talk about the characters and stuff like that accordingly. So, we're going to start off with Iron Man. Did you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
You can go first. It'll probably take me longer to pull the character up.
Okay. So, for Iron Man, I was stuck. I had two potential characters. There was a third one.
I thought you said you were going to use...
Well, let me get there. There was three characters that could have potentially been used. The third one, huh?
So there are actually several characters in the database that would work for Iron Man. More than I thought we had.
One of the characters, I was like, well, maybe Mech. And I was like, Mech doesn't really, I don't know, right? There was Do-Gooder. Do-Gooder looks like Iron Man, for sure, right? But
Do-Gooder is on the
Reckoning side.
Reckoning, gotcha.
Yeah. But I went with, shameless plug, the one and only Taharka King. Why is it so dark? The screen is dark.
It is. It's very dark.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird, but we're going to have to
rock that look more menacing, I guess.
I guess so. So, Taharka is a character from Midnight Comics. Got to throw that plug in. But much like Tony Stark, right? He has his own company, right? But there's a little mix. We throw in some Black Panther aspects, stuff like that. They essentially got their own autonomous kind of situation, but on U.S. soil.
Yes.
But yeah, he has what's called Pharaoh Industries, which stands for Philanthropic Heritage, Ancestry, Research, and Optimal Health. And yeah, like obviously he's making not only things that are benefit all of the African diaspora, but also they also have some crazy advancements within the realm of technology. There we go. He does have a nanotech suit. So again, all things that I mentioned just now. Ridiculous amount of money, has his own company, has a nanotech suit. You can't go wrong. Got scarab drones again. We talked about the nanotech suit to make his battle suit and stuff like that. Can fire blast the whole nine. Who else but Taharka for the role of Iron Man in this case? We'll hear from Tasha. Let's see. So
I already knew you were going to pick Taharka, so I definitely wasn't.
that's
Uh,
fair. That's fair.
try not to cross over. So that one I already knew you were doing. And
Okay.
I did look at Do Gooder after I'd already picked and decided not to switch.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah. I actually, it's a bunch of things coming up as I'm trying to share my screen. I actually decided to choose Braven
For Iron Man.
for Iron Man.
Talk to me.
Why is it? There we go. I'm about to say two reasons. Of course, you have, he's got the suit, he's got tech and stuff like that. The suit does things like it has pistols in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me an interesting kind of Iron Man Black Panther mix. Black
Okay.
Panther's not on
Okay.
this. So, we're going to put him on the team low key.
Okay. Okay.
But, so he's got the suit, his strike suit. I feel like that stands for something
Mm-hmm.
because there's periods there. Um, but he's got the suit, he's got his weapons, he's got sniff sense trackers.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only assume all these things are built into his suit. And I really like his design. His
Okay.
suit looks really cool. And so that was He's tech savvy.
Okay.
He's acrobatic, which Tony is not, but
No, well, yeah. That's
so yeah.
okay. I dig it. I dig it. Okay. So we're gonna move forward. And anybody that's watching this stuff like that, let us know who you think out of the ones that we picked do you think fits Iron Man more, but then also review the database, right? Check out the database and let us know who you would pick to be Iron Man. Now, next up, we have the Hulk. Now,
We're doing a whole
this one
point.
I this one I toyed with. This one I toyed with. Um if you guys watch the matchup with the Verdant Mother, I was talking with our friend Ben about this one earlier today, actually. And he was like, "Really? Okay." And I explained my reasoning. He was like, "Okay, I could understand that." So okay, cool, bet. So the Hulk is a monster, right? Nobody exactly knows, likes this guy. Nobody knows what he's up to, who the person. Well, they do know who the person is behind it, but it's just like we don't want to be in the same room as this guy. He looks menacing. He's gonna tear some stuff up. There's gonna be casualties, which means let's just go ahead and just get straight to the point. I got my boy, the Raven Mocker, on here.
Okay.
um, you know, Hulk is a rage monster. Well, Ravenmocker kind of can induce various emotions and stuff like that. Again, he is to continue to try to play on a word right here. He's kind of a hulking monster, if you would, right? Definitely ominous. He kind of he's 8 feet tall, so he's definitely standing over you. We don't have a weight on here or anything like that. But extremely powerful.
I mean, it fluctuates.
Say again.
That's what I mean. It fluctuates because his weight would be different when he's in human form.
Right, exactly, right,
So
and
it's
then there's that
transformed.
transformation aspect of it. So yeah, healing factor, just like he does, right? The difference is he's got some invisibility, some shape shifting in a sense because he could take the form of a regular raven and all of that. But anyway, he is definitely could be a misunderstood monster, if you would. I won't belabor a point, but I have chosen the Red Walker here for our character. So I am curious to know.
The way you said that, I thought you were going with Verdant Mother or something.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it.
yeah. I said, I'm not really seeing a lot of Hulk here. So, yeah, We'll just go with Damon
Really?
because he has increased strength, and I don't recall if he put it on there or not. I don't know if it gets increases each time something happens or not, but it's
Mm-hmm.
increased strength, and right now
Okay.
he can top buildings. The Hulk is stronger than that, but I'm sure it's
Okay.
better. I also have another reason for using him,
Okay.
kind of, but I won't get into that.
No, talk to us. Talk to us.
No, no,
Why?
no. I'm not getting into that because it pertains to the Justice League video.
Oh, okay. Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. In case you guys didn't know, they're not necessarily spoilers for the next episode, but right, we want to do this with several pretty popular teams, right? So yes, as Tasha said, on the next one, we will be discussing the Justice League. So original Justice League on that one, more of that towards the end of the video. But okay, so we've got Damon and Ravenmocker as the contenders for Hulk. Okay, I could dig this. Okay, so this one was easy. Like there wasn't even a second thought for me when it came to who to select for this character. We're talking about Thor. Okay, and I feel like we may have picked the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Um, you're talking about the God of Thunder himself, right? So it only makes sense that we pick somebody that has, well, very, very similar abilities. The one and only Jupiter Man.
Oh, okay, thank God.
You can't go wrong, right? He's got lightning abilities. He is a god, right? The difference is instead of Norse mythology, he's pulled from Roman mythology. So really, that's it. But he's pretty stacked, right? In regards to abilities, again, sun ability, storm ability, speed manipulation, spiritual invincibility, all sorts of things. Immensely powerful and definitely probably the strongest character on this team, as Thor was with the original team as well. Again, Hulk wasn't as all powerful as he is now in comparison, right? So Thor was definitely the heaviest hitter on that team, I dare say. But yeah, so that's who I've got. I've got Jupiter Man on that one. Honestly, again, there wasn't even a second thought. The moment was just like, oh, Thor, Jupiter Man. Like I knew Jupiter Man before I knew, well, Jupiter Man and Taharka before
You need to
anybody
hark
else.
on the second you brought that up.
So that's who I got. I'm curious to know who you got.
So, actually, speaking of Verdant Mother,
Uh-huh.
I picked the Verdant Mother.
Wow. Okay. Talk to us about that one bit.
So,
Okay.
I'm trying to be more creative here
Mm-hmm.
because some of these aren't so easy, and obviously you went with Jupiter Man. That was the obvious answer, right?
Low hanging fruit. Yeah.
Low hanging fruit. But we have to think Thor, of course, is the god of thunder, but he also has some control over like the air and wind and what you would consider elements at times. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the Verdant Mother has control over the elements as far as nature. So we say, why
Okay.
not? She can channel nature. She can manipulate nature. She has elemental immunity, atomic beast transformation. She can turn invisible. She's essentially a goddess of nature.
Okay.
So we just swap out the god for a goddess, and instead of the god of thunder, we'll have the goddess of nature.
Okay. I can dig this. Okay.
Does it sound like this?
I wasn't expecting that one. I
I
wasn't
know.
expecting that one at all. Okay.
I know. I had her somewhere else too at first, and then I put her there.
Hmm.
I said I had her somewhere else too at first, but then I swapped her over there.
Okay. So here's here's where we got a little tricky here. We're
We still
going
have.
Ant.
I feel like we both picked the low hanging fruit on this.
I don't think. I think we both ended up picking this character somewhere, or I think we both ended up picking the character you're referencing, but in different spots. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So the character that I have in the spot of Ant-Man is Rhino Beetle. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Okay.
moved him. I moved him. He was my Ant-Man. And I said, no. I
Yep.
was actually looking for someone specific and I stumbled across Rhino Beetle because I forgot he was there. And I was like, oh, actually, that's a good Ant-Man. And I said,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And
And I was like, I know who I'm looking for is in this database. I'm going to find them. And then I found
okay.
them.
And then you found them. I
And then
feel like who
you
you're
know
about to
exactly
say,
who I'm talking about.
I picked for Wasp. But okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody that's watching, you see it on the screen. He's instead of a ant, right? He's got the physiology of a beetle, a rhino beetle. Not much else to say there, right? No, he doesn't control them or anything like that. But again, great standing from the choices that we have. But I do want to know, Tasha. Maybe I do know already. Who?
Well, if you know, pull it up because for some reason I can't find it again. Never mind, I found him.
Oh, okay.
All right, so my pick. That is not the share button.
Bless your heart.
Shut up. I picked Super Termite,
Super Termite. Okay. Super Termite.
which is a man turned
Mm-hmm.
termite
Mm-hmm.
and can transform and control termites. So Ant-Man is Termite Man.
Oh, he can control termites?
I do believe he said that, or
Yeah, termite
yeah,
communication.
I
Yeah,
would say I remember him saying
dang.
that before. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was literally.
Ah,
It's like he is what Jupiter Man was to Thor. It's like
yeah.
it's just different.
Dang, you know what?
Fuck.
I can't even argue with that. That's the better one. I'll put Rhino. I would, if I were to combine our teams, the two that I know for sure is I would just swap Rhino Beetle and Super Turbite. I would put Super
Mm-hmm.
Turbite with it as Ant Man. That's a good one. That's a good
Okay.
one. And honestly, we don't even need to move away because as
Oh, that's
stated,
true because that's who you
as
picked
stated,
for
my Wasp was going to be Super
Super Termite.
Turbite.
Right.
That's but again, now I should have looked at the powers again. But yeah, looking at that, yeah, that's such an obvious freaking choice for Ant Man. But now I'm kind of like I should have looked again and see who Wasp could be, but I'll just stick to my guns with what I got. I have Rhino Beetle.
You got what you got, and I had what you didn't get. So it
Yeah.
works.
So who do you have for Wasp?
So I used Wasp as my Midnight Comics quota because we had a quota of at least using one of our characters, or at least trying to use one of our characters.
Oh my God!
And since I couldn't think of anyone else, I just went with another themed character. So Blue Orpho.
Yo, that's a good one. That's a good one. Dang. Now,
To be
okay.
fair,
To be
initially
fair,
I wasn't like, yeah, I need to meet my Midnight Comics quota. Let me pick Blue Morpho. I was legitimately looking around like I can't think of a wasp. And then I looked at Blue Morpho and I said, you know what?
that's it.
She's a wasp.
I want
She's a
this
type
too.
of butterfly. Now she doesn't have any powers. Neither does
Mhm.
Wasp. Neither does Janet. Technically, they have
Right.
the stuff, but she is trained. She has gear, and she's a butterfly instead of a wasp. So there you go.
Okay. I
Even
like
though
this team.
Janet, the wasp doesn't even really make sense for her skill set, but
So to not have an overwhelmingly Midnight Comics team, I would swap out who would I swap out?
you only have two characters.
No, I'm saying if I would to merge our teams as our because like right now I'm like, yeah, Super Termite is Ant-Man, Blue Morpho is Wasp. I'm like, am I? And Jupiter Man was just too perfect for Thor, in my
Excuse
opinion.
me. Yes.
I'm debating: do we get rid of
Dang,
Taharka,
but
or
see,
do we
but
get rid of Raven Mocker?
we would probably have to get rid of Taharka only because I feel like Damon was just a toss-in for me,
Okay.
and Raven Mocker works 10 times better. I just could not find a Hulk.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Screw it. It's just gonna be Midnight Comics all day. Yeah. No. Screw it.
Oh well.
He has the company. He has everything. I can't. And Raven Mocker was too good of a host. So,
Yeah.
do we agree then on the following team? Hypothetically, and hopefully, any artist that is watching this that wants to do something fun here, I would love to do an original Avengers cover with these characters. That joint would be fire. All right. Anyway, I think Taharka, like we said in the beginning. Hold on. There we go. Taharka, like we said in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Raven Mocker, as the Taharka as Iron Man, Ravenmacher as Hulk. We have Jupiter Man. Oh man, I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. Yuck. We've got Jupiter Man as the God of Thunder himself. Super Termite as Ant-Man, and the
it evens out almost. It's only 5. It's only 3 Midnight Comics characters. I don't care.
So no, I don't care either. That's perfect. There we go. This is the team.
I feel like it's the only time it's gonna happen too.
Yeah, that's the team. You can't go wrong. So here's what we're gonna do. Listen, please. I am gonna be reaching out to some of these artists because that would be a fire cover. But yeah, so these aren't going to be too terribly long. These are fun. I mean, it's almost 30 minutes. All right, so here's the gameplay. Right,
a lot better when they're playing ahead.
Yeah. We just kind of did this off the jump. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. We want to know who your teams would be. Your original Avengers team. Drop it down below. Tell us your reasoning if you so dare. But yeah, let us know down below who you would pick. And use the database, right? And again, very limited right now. But as we continue to do more of these and more people that have indie characters or original characters see this and want to be a part of it when we open it back up, I know for a fact the floodgates are going to be open the next time we open this up. So like,
people keep
make sure to get your character in here because this is the most limited, if you would, that this database is going to be. So like, you got to really try this time. When we open the floodgates, like there's gonna be a stand-in for everybody. So anyway, definitely let us know down below. And yeah, tune in next week for the Justice League. We're doing the original version of the Justice League, and and for those of you guys that don't know, and we're not talking about the original team from the cartoon. We're talking about original Justice League. We're talking Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, and Flash. That's it. Ain't no Batman, Superman around here. Now, let us know ahead of time for that too. Who do you guys think? We already have our list. We already got our list. So anyway, let us know down below. Check out that video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Any closing bits there, Tasha, for you?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for in regards to indie breakdown stuff for helping us redefine power scaling in the indie world. And of course, remember, until next time, everybody, midnight is coming. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.